Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Dr. Zoya Ahmed, and I'm a dentist by profession. I've pursued bachelor's of dental surgery and master's of dental surgery, and I love to talk about topics which enhance us as people in this chaotic world where we have lots of different opinions. I think seeing a way out is a little difficult because we are messed up with a lot of information, but we are lacking wisdom, right? So, when it comes to being a wise person, the first thing that comes into mind is that to be wiser in life is to be more disciplined in life, and that discipline of the human body and of the human mind actually needs a lot of curriculum and it needs a lot of work. So if you talk about the Islamic perspective, when you reach out to the scholars, when you want to learn from the scholars, so again, from the Shia school of thought, we have obviously a very respected scholar, a rehbar of our time. Imam Khomeini was asked this question that how would you define self-perfection? So he gave a 16-point long notes, 16 points in order, which are actually beautiful. They are mesmerizing because they teach you not only things which are relevant to deen, but they are also relevant to dunya and how we should spend our life. So the very purpose of the word deen, that it is a way of life and Islam is a way of life, is actually fulfilled through those points. So now when again Imam Khamenei रहमतुल्लाह was asked कि आप नौजवानों को किस तरह देखते हैं, हाउ डू यू सी यंगस्टर्स, देन ही रिप्लाइड इन 3 lines that I see youngsters in 3 brackets. One is they should be educating themselves, second is they should be purifying their souls, and third is they should be exercising well. They should be active people, they shouldn't be lazy people. So that is where it clicks, that if first is that you should be educated, and second is that we should be careful about purifying our nafs, our soul, so that we can improve on our quality of life. Physical well-being will lead to mental well-being, and mental well-being will lead to physical well-being. So they both are intertwined, they are both are connected. So let's speak about the 16 points by Imam Khomeini. First point on self-perfection. Obviously, I am talking about the Islamic perspective, yes. So the first point that he mentions is to perform the daily prayers on time and try to perform as much as you can the namaz-e-shab or the namaz-e-tahajjud, right? So we have, see, the importance of prayer is on the first list because he's a scholar, yes. And so how can we know the importance of prayer in our life? You see, in Islam, prayer is made up of 2 components. It is a physical component, it has a physical component, and it has a mental component, that we should be focused on what we are doing. We should be focused on what we are reciting. When you speak about the physical component, obviously concentration is a must, otherwise the prayer is not a prayer, right? When you talk about physical component, now our mind needs blood supply, right? The blood is circulating in our bodies, and our heart is a great pump. When it pumps blood up against gravity, it is difficult for the heart, and when it is the blood is to be pulled in from other parts of the lower limb, it is again difficult for the body. So these two processes against gravity need an effort. And our heart, the place it is in, when you go into the position of ruku, your heart and mind are leveled at the same level. So it is easier for the blood to flow from heart to mind or your brain. And again, when you go in your sujood, the uh, lower limb and the brain and the mind, they are leveled again. So thereby, hence, the blood flow is easier again. Thereby, when you are in ruku and in sujood, your mind and your rest of the body are actually, it's making for it easier to circulate the blood, right? So this is one of the very basic importance of prayer in the Islamic perspective, right? The prayer that we have as Muslims. Obviously, again, try to perform Qiyam al-Layl. The importance of waking up at an early hour has always been a blessing to mankind. When you wake up in that early hour of the day, it actually enhances your circadian rhythm, it aligns with your circadian rhythm, as well as it basically leaves the bigger part of the day for you. It gives you time for yourself, it gives you time for rejuvenating your soul, some self reflection, and it's one of the most beautiful times of the day. Yes. Coming to point number 2, fasting on Mondays and Thursdays as much as you can. Now, as we all know, in this time and age, the benefits of intermittent fasting is been long studied. But when you actually fast after an average of 2 to 3 days, what your body does is that your body tries to go in a fasting state, and again the accumulated toxins, fats and crystals, whatever you have, if it goes into the state of autophagy, it actually starts killing its own dead cells and whatever it wants to eliminate, right? So the this is the very basic advantage of fasting. Obviously, it should be with the pure intention of doing it for God. The blessing that comes with it, the benefit that comes with it, God will give it to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give it to you. Yes. Third is decrease your sleeping hours and instead dedicate your time to reading more Quran. Obviously, a very verified pattern of sleep, again, sleeping early and getting up early, sleeping early and getting up early, will obviously align with your circadian rhythm. And we must remember that sleeping from 10 to 4 or 10 to 5 is not the same as sleeping from 3 to 9 or 10 in the next day, because that does not align with the natural clock of the day. So that is why sleeping at proper time, sleep hygiene actually improves a lot of your health. Coming on to the fourth point, make sure to fulfill your promises and oaths and give importance to keeping your promises. Yes, the very verified meaning of being a valuable person, being a valuable asset in this cruel world is to be a promise keeper. If you know something and you know you have said it, then try to keep up your promise. Rest if the situation has changed a lot. Obviously, God knows it. But from our side, we must try to keep our promises so that we will not be answerable on the day of judgment. Because here, to keep a thing or to keep the value of your tongue is much easier than to keep the value of our tongue there, because there we do not know how harsh the judgment is going to be. Yes, because we feel that we did a small thing by not following our words, but do we know what impact it had on the other person? How much of life we have actually impacted for the other person, what expectations they were having from us, and how much of their work was stuck just because we had given them a word. So let us be careful and let us be an asset of value, asset to the world, where people value us because we are truthful and honest. Fifth, help the poor and the needy. Yes, Islam gives a lot of importance to sadaqah and charity. And sixth is refrain from tohbat and ghibat. So this is very important because this is very common in our society, especially I suppose people who have been who have been through suffering by someone. Uh, so I think we can refrain, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do insaf on the basis of how we also react to a particular situation. We need to have more of sabr in what we are going through. Yes. And seventh is again a very important point: do not throw or part in lavish parties. Now, this is very important. Like, we are talking about nafs, right? We are talking about self perfection. So, why do we need a foundation on not throwing or participating in a lavish party? You see, there is a show off of wealth, there is a show off of knowledge, and there is a show off of beauty. You have been blessed by God on some parameters. Everyone has something or the other. This is risk. This is what Allah has given you, right? Now, when we try to show off our money to other people, that is where our nafs is very. It shows that our nafs is very weak. Yes, do we actually really need to show our money to other people that I have this much? Is it of any value or is it of any importance? No, I suppose it is not, because the people who come and eat on that day, they will backbite and gossip about you in the on the same day that they're eating with you. So impressing the Lord is so much easier than impressing people. Thereby, when you talk about self perfection, this is again a very important point: to not take part in lavish parties or throw lavish parties. 8th, wear simple clothes and do not go for fancy clothes, because again, as a hadith of Imam Ali Salam says that uh, wear something which does not highlight you and wear something which does not degrade you. So wear something in moderation, something that is peaceful for you and for the other people, right? So that is very simple. And simplicity, as we say it in Urdu, के खूबसूरती सादगी में खूबसूरती है. Yes. सो वो खूबसूरती अगर हम एडमायर करने लग जाएंगे तो शायद जो चीज़ बहुत लाविश है हम उस पर ध्यान ही नहीं देंगे. सादगी को हमने खूबसूरत समझना ही छोड़ दिया है इस ज़माने में. And that is where important play of simple things in life comes into play. Ayatollah Behjat again points out here that a man who needs to eat simple bread and who can live his life in simple clothes does not need a lot of money for survival. Coming on to the 9th point, do not speak too much and make more dua instead. Yes, that is again a very important point, because speaking more actually leads to more mistakes, and once you make a mistake, glass once broken and words once spoken do not get back. Yes, so cannot be taken back. Yes, so आप बाद में वजाहत देते रहिए कि हमने ऐसे कहा था, वैसे नहीं कहा था. So instead of that, if we think before speaking, it will be beneficial for us. And again, Imam Ali Islam's famous saying, एक अक्लमंद की अक्ल उसके ज़बान के आगे होती है और बेवकूफ़ की अक्ल ज़बान से बेवकूफ़ की ज़बान अक्ल से पहले होती है. So this is very a nice saying for us to be very wary of what we can say to people. Yes, and no matter what happens in life, we will be known by our words. We will be known by the promises we make. We will be known by the oath we take. We will be known by what we say, what we do. And again, words can be action if they are taken at the right time. There is a time to be quiet and there is a time to speak up. Yes, and again, 10th point would be to exercise more. Here I would like to mention a very nice study. This was a study done in Japan on research students who obviously had a very low level of physical activity, and who were gaining weight and becoming sluggish day by day. When they moved and when they were given some tasks to move and do whatever kind of physical activity they like, and then later the tests were done, they were shown much better results with their weights. They were shown much better results with their degenerative qualities, like their forgetfulness, their, if they are lacking something, if they cannot memorize something, and all these kinds of, your human body is actually a very natural pharmacy. Yes, when you walk, your body produces a few hormones that enhance your memory, they decline the degenerative properties, and improve your skin, because yes, you are sweating more, right? So your toxins are getting away out of the body. So exercise, and exercise is shown to be degenerative for Alzheimer's disease. It brings down the possibility of having an Alzheimer's disease. Okay, now coming on to the next point, read more. Yes, again, this is a very basic advice. Whatever we are today, we are made up of either life experiences or a few books. Yes, the more we read, the more we learn. That is where we get to know how much we know. The more educated a man is, the more he will know that it is less that he knows, because that is where the point that you know that you know very little. The more you read, the more you will know that you have read very little. 12th, try to learn technical sciences like the computer science so that you can be updated with the world. Again, we do not want to see our youngsters being at the back, being not updated with the current issues and not knowing what to do. We want focused, we want focus oriented children, so that what we are doing, we should be knowing what we are doing. It is okay to lose hope, it is okay to lose direction in life, but at least we should know how to build that direction in life. Yes, so, and that is very much a pathway. Learning the new current sciences, the new technologies is actually a way of finding your direction. Yes. 13th point, try to learn Arabic and Tajweed and be knowledgeable in anything relating to those areas of knowledge. Yes, because the Quran, right? The Arabic of Quran is actually a very difficult language. Be it one page or be it half a paragraph or be it one line. If we try to make it a daily habit of trying to learn something from the Quran and the Tajweed, we can actually go far and beyond in just 1 year than what we are doing today. If we are not doing anything today, just in just 1 year or a few months, we can be far ahead of what we are trying to do now. Now, coming to the point, see, we are all on different levels in taqwa. We are struggling with taqwa. We try to do something, we skip on something else. We try to do something else, then we skip on what we started with. Now, what happens is we are struggling and God loves us. जो अल्लाह कुरान पाक में ये कह दे कि मैं 70 माओं से ज़्यादा मेहरबान हूँ, तो वो खुदा आप पर मेहरबान नहीं होगा, वो खुदा आपके गुनाह माफ़ नहीं कर सकता है. So when you try to read that one ayah with the heart, right, learning that one sentence, one point of Arabic and Tajweed will bring you closer to God. It is said that when you want God to talk to you, you read the Quran. When you want you to talk to God, then you should pray. Yes, so I think in these points of self-perfection, both the aspects have been covered. We talking to God and God talking to us, which actually enhances the soul, it refreshes the soul. Yes. So now, as I was saying, we are all on different levels of taqwa. I can be closer to God, someone else can be much closer to God, and the other one can be very, very close to God, and Allah knows best. Yes. Now, when I start from step 1 and I take one step, God is going, because Allah is Rahman and Rahim, He will take 1,000 generous steps, because He says that मैं तुम्हारी शहरत से ज़्यादा करीब हूँ. First. Second, when Musa alayhi salam said, Ya Rabbi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Yes, Musa, I am close and I am present for everyone who calls out to me. Everyone, not just Musa alayhi salam, everyone. And I am present and I respond. So when Musa alayhi salam had said, Ya Rabbi, just a very immediate action of Allah said, Yes, yes, Musa, tell me. So Allah is closer to us than anybody else, in the world. And again, like in Urdu it is said, अगर हम अपने आप को पहचान लेते हैं तो हम अपने खुदा को पहचान लेते हैं. Coming to the 14th point, forget about all the good you have done and remember about the past sins that you have done. Yes, again a very important point of self-reflection, because again reflection is first and perfection is second. To become a better person, again I don't think we can ever be perfect, but yes, to become a better person, start following some points of discipline. We need to focus on the fact that this is not an easy path, yes, and mind is first. Mind comes before action. A wiser mind will lead to a wiser action. The same mind can have a criminal mentality and the same mind can have the best mentality in the world. Again, Ayatollah Behjat said that we all have a Shimr within us. Yes? Now, who was Shimr? Shimr was not just one bad person. He was not just a bad person. Shimr was someone who laid himself on Imam Hussein alayhi salam's body, cut his right throat, pierced his chest. That is Shimr. And what is Ayatollah Behjat saying? That we all have a Shimr within us. So that means we all have that evil side of us and a good side of us, right? Now it depends on us of what we are wanting to follow. Yes, psychology actually is very diverse. हमारी नफ्सियात बहुत बहुत बड़ी है. और हम वक्त दर वक्त अपना पर्सपेक्टिव भी बदलते रहते हैं, एंड वी हैव डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशंस alongside. Yes, our behavior may change, our situations may change, but in that, all we need is a little peace of mind and reflection, and the good deed that is done with a good reflection is actually a beneficial deed. I will give a very small example here. For example, sometimes we throw food on the streets and we think that the animals will eat it. But do the animals actually eat it? We see it many times on the road that the food is spilled there, the rice and the rotis are spilled there. They don't eat sometimes. करने चले थे हम नेकी, कर दी हमने बुराई. Yes, we are actually creating garbage on the streets. We are throwing garbage on the streets. Yes, so why not be a little more wisdom and make a very designated area for waste disposal or for animals to eat. Yes, so any good deed done with more wisdom in it will obviously yield greater results. So mind comes before action. So forget about the good and reflect on your past sins so that we can be a better person. Yes. The 15th point is again very interesting point in terms of materialistic possessions. Compare yourself to a poor person, and in terms of spirituality, compare yourself to Awliya Allah. Yes, when it comes to people in dunya have so much more than us, people in deen have so much more than us. Why is it that we need to see the comparison? When it comes to deen, we need to see someone lower than us, and when it comes to dunya, we need to see someone lower, and in terms of deen, we need to see someone higher. Just a very basic point, because this is that one point which brings contentment and peace to your mind. That is the only meaning here. This point will bring contentment in your materialistic possessions. You will become more thankful, and once you become more thankful, and once you know that you have been blessed, this is the time that you will actually start to be more blissful, and Allah will send more blessings, because in ayat Surah Ibrahim ayat number 7, Allah says, if you are thankful, I will increase you in favors. Yes. And last but not the least, be up to date on the current affairs and Umur Muslimin, anything, any events related to the Muslim world and anything around, especially what's going along the lines of Syria and Palestine. And obviously, it is a very famous hadith that any Muslim that wakes up one morning and is not aware of the other affairs of other Muslim brethren is not one amongst us. Yes, so we need to be aware, because we can perform something on an individual level, but this is where we need to perform on a community level. We need to be with our community, because that shows our strength. Yes, and that is much needed discussion, and this is the need of the hour. So everyone, here we end our 16 points of self-perfection by Ayatollah Imam Khomeini Rahmatullah alayh, and I hope this was useful and it can be useful. And any habit formation takes some days, but let me tell you, the human body is actually very amazing. It is beautiful, it is very adaptive. Any habit, let us start. If there are 16 points here, then even if we take one at a time and start working on it, for example, fasting on Monday or Thursday, one day at a time, then it will take time to fast every Monday, or probably after every 2-3 days, but again it will take some days and you will be habitual to it. Habit formation is one of the biggest blessings of the human body. Allah has made our bodies very, very flexible. So indeed, we can start with one thing at a time, and slowly and steadily over the years we can be better and better each day. Thank you. This is Dr. Zoya Ahmad. Thank you for your time and patience.